Jacob's family became a great people in Egypt, and they were called Israelites. Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, was scared that one day there would be too many Israelites, and that they would take over the Egypt. So he made the Israelites his slaves. Pharaoh then commanded that all the newborn Israelite baby boy should be killed, and the Israelite families were all afraid. An Israelite mother named Jochebed thought of a way to save her newborn son. She put her baby on a basket and hid it in the tall grass in the Nile River. The baby's sister Miriam watched over him to keep him safe while bathing in the river. Pharaoh's daughter discovers the basket. She saw the helpless Israelite baby crying and wanted to raise him as her own child. Miriam came to Pharaoh's daughter and asked if she could bring an Israelite woman to care for the baby. Miriam brought her mother, Jochebed, to Pharaoh's daughter. Pharaoh's daughter agreed to pay Jochebed to care for the baby. The Israelites' baby grew, and the Pharaoh's daughter raised him as her own. Then she gave the baby a name called Moises. Afterwards, Moises grew as a son of Pharaoh's daughter. He saw that the Egyptians were mean to the Israelites, and was sad that the Egyptians made the Israelites their slaves. One day, Moises saw an Egyptian hitting an Israelite. To defend the Israelites, Moises killed the Egyptian. When the Pharaoh found out, he wanted to kill Moises, but Moises ran away from Egypt. Moises came to a place called Midian, where he met a woman named Zipporah. They got married and had children. While living in Midian, Moises saw a bush that was on fire, but the fire did not burn up the bush. Then the Lord appeared in the fire and spoke to Moises. The Lord said that he knew that the Israelites were suffering in Egypt, so he commanded Moises to return to Egypt and tell the Pharaoh to let the Israelites go free. The Lord said he would help Moises free the Israelites and lead them to Promised Land. Moises trusted the Lord and returned to Egypt. He, along with his brother Aaron, went to Pharaoh and asked the latter to let the Israelites be free and leave Egypt. But the Pharaoh became angry and refused. He forced the Israelites to work even harder. Because the Pharaoh did not listen to the Lord, the Egyptians were cursed with terrible plagues. First, all the waters in the Egypt turned into blood. Then Moises asked the Pharaoh again to let the Israelites go, but Pharaoh said no. Next, the Lord sent frogs to Egypt, and they were everywhere. The Pharaoh said he would let the Israelites go if the frogs went away. Then the Lord made the frogs go away, but the Pharaoh didn't let the Israelites go. So the Lord sent lice and flies. Next, all the Egyptians' farm animals died, but none of the Israelites' farm animals died. Then the Egyptians got painful sores on their bodies. A great storm with hail and fire also came to Egypt and caused terrible destruction. Pharaoh still would not let the Israelites go. Then the Lord sent locusts, and they all ate the people's food. Afterwards, there were 3 days of darkness. During many of the plagues, the Pharaoh promised the Israelites go if the plagues would stop, but he lied. After the 9 different plagues, Pharaoh still didn't want the Israelites go. Then the Lord told Moises another terrible plagues would come. The Lord guided and protected the Israelites as they waited for freedom. However, the Pharaoh would not let the Israelites go for free. So the Lord told Moises that he would send one last plague. The firstborn child of every family in the land of Egypt would die, even the firstborn of their animals. The Lord promised that if the Israelites followed his instructions, the plague would pass over them and not hurt them. The Lord told each Israelite family to sacrifice a perfect male lamb and paint the blood of the lamb on the doorframe of their houses. The Lord also told them to cook and quickly eat the lamb, and while they eat, they should be dressed and ready to leave their homes. The Lord said that if the Israelites followed those things, then their firstborn would be safe from the plagues. Like the Lord warned, the plague came. All the firstborns in the Egypt died, including the Pharaoh's oldest son. But the plague passed over each home that had lamb's blood on the doorframe, and the firstborn of the Israelites were saved, because they follow God. When the Pharaoh saw that his son was dead because of the plague, he told Moises and Aaron to take all the Israelites and leave Egypt. Then the Israelites leave, but the Pharaoh was angry. He gathers his army and chariots and chased after the Israelites. The Israelites camp at the Red Sea, Soon, the Pharaoh and his army caught up to them. When the Israelites saw that the Egyptians were coming, they were afraid. But Moises told them that the Lord would protect them. As the Israelites get closer, the Lord told Moises to lift up his rod. Moises did, and the Lord parted the sea. The Israelites crossed the sea on dry ground. Then they run away from Pharaoh and his army. The Egyptian army chased after the Israelites. When all the Israelites were safe on the other side of the sea, the Lord let the water came down, and the Egyptians were drowned in the sea. Then the Israelites were free at last. They sang songs, danced, and thanked the Lord. They always remember the Passover as the time the Lord saved their lives and let them out of the Egypt, hoping and praying that the story of Moises enlightened you.